Am I in? I don't see. Well, I don't have a picture. Oh, I'm live, but yeah, maybe I'm on the wrong one, man. Welcome into Sports with Balls. I'm Jeff Michael. This is Dan Green joining me in the show. Oh, here we go, man. I was in the wrong one. All right, welcome into the show, guys. Episode 207. Look, Lauren Leal called in, got caught up in a meeting, so she wasn't available today. Maybe she'll show up later. I don't know. We're gonna find out, but. Surprise guest showed up at Christian's Tailgate, who we had on last week from Los Angeles, who is doing a comedy show here in Houston tomorrow and Saturday night. Dan Green. What's up, Dan?
G'day, Jeff. How you going, mate?
Man, it couldn't have worked out better.
Happy to be back in Texas, mate. I love it here.
Yeah. How was the trip, man?
Trip was interesting, mate. It's always interesting when you remember at 1 a.m. that you forgot to check in on Southwest.
Oh,
you ain't getting boarding group A when that happens.
No.
C48, mate. That's when you know you're going to be checking your bag under the plane. And I'm
C48.
I'm 6'3" and 250. So I'm a nightmare when there's only center seats left and you're guarding your center seat.
Did you get a center seat?
Yeah, I'm like fee-fi-fo-fum down the middle aisle on Southwest. And Oof. I see a buddy of mine who's a comic. I see Ocean Glabshin, who's a comic. He's performing in Houston this weekend as well. I see him, and he looks at me. He's like, no. Don't sit next to me, big fella. Happy to see you, but I don't want you sitting there. Then I see behind him is these two Chinese guys. I'm like, oh, yeah, there's plenty of room between them. That'll work.
There you
That's
go.
The spot.
Bam.
Why are people walking past this? And I sit down, and then I look down at my feet, and the guy next to me has his shoes and socks off, and he's I'm trying to figure out what the smell is. And I'm like, I look down at the guy next to me. We haven't even left the ground, and he's taking his shoes and socks off already.
Wow.
I just started taking a picture. I just took a picture of him, and he goes, what are you doing? I said, I'm putting a picture of your smelly ass on Instagram. That's what I'm doing. Can I tag you? Didn't even hide it.
Flying is an interesting thing, especially Southwest, Spirit. They have these planes now that people can get on, and now they VIP seats, and that you have your own like little luxury apartment in some of these planes now. But it's amazing. But welcome into Sports with Balls. Glad to have Dan Green here. It is Christmas Day for the NFL. Everybody's getting a present. Every team, everybody's getting a present today. Whether you like it or not, I don't know. That's up to you. I don't know who like. Fans of the Cowboys are all in Kansas City. The draft is taking place in Kansas City this year, which is, I guess, one of your favorite places to visit.
Well, some of those presents are from the dollar store. Let's be serious about this, okay? Somebody gets some really cool shit, but some of you aren't getting very good presents at all. I don't know, man. Kansas City, I'm looking at the footage right now. I thought Kansas had a high draft pick, and all these people are standing there all in Kansas City jerseys. There must be fuck all to do in Kansas City. It's the most boring city in America, I'm going to say, because they're out there watching other teams draft.
They have decent barbecue in Kansas City. I'm from Memphis, so I'm Memphis barbecue 100%. I live in Texas. Texas barbecue is next, but Kansas City actually does have a nice little barbecue thing. But yeah, as far as entertainment-wise, I don't know.
This can become a UFC podcast very quickly, man. I'm fighting words. I hold my Texas barbecue pretty high, mate.
I know. A lot of people do. I mean, but I like Memphis. I like dry rubs. There's a place called Rendezvous there. It's been voted one of the best in the United States as barbecue. This is beef, that's pork, so it's different, right? Different, and it's the sauces in Kansas City and St. Louis. They argue over that. But anyways,
I'm going to say it right now. Blood Brothers here in Houston.
Wow,
that's the top of the mountain for me, mate.
Wow. All right, well, let's get this promo over. Dan Green. Look, we'll do it throughout the show too. But Dan Green joins the show straight from Los Angeles. You have a show tomorrow night with a few other comedians here. Tell us a little bit about what you have going on tomorrow night,
mate. Tomorrow night, I'm bringing in 3 heavy hitters to Houston, Texas. I've got Johnny Mitchell, who has his super successful podcast on YouTube called The Connect with over 325 million views, reformed drug dealer. Now he's a stand-up comic. He's a regular at the store and the Hollywood Improv. Then I've got Mike Eshak, who performs regularly at the Laugh Factory in California. He's nationwide headliner, ex-Marine. Oh, no, sorry, I shouldn't say that. They're always Marines, but I don't like being called ex-Marines.
Yeah.
But he's from Yemen, which makes him a super Marine. I don't know how that works. And I've got Jeff Joe coming in, and who just opened for Russell Peters at Joe Rogan's Comedy Mothership last weekend for 3 shows. It's going to be fantastic. You can get your tickets at eventbrite.com. Just search for Dan Green and Friends. There are still tickets available, and it's going to be a fantastic show.
Yeah, I put it up right there. See Dan Green and friends in Houston this weekend at eventbrite.com. I'm going tomorrow night. I know a friend, Joe Applewhite, who's on the show as a realtor. Sorry, he hates it when I say real tour. It's realtor.
Dude, if I was a realtor, I'd just come for the networking opportunity of being in a room full of drunk people watching comedy. And and my crowd is an older crowd. They can afford houses. So, okay, realtors who are listening, get your ass down here and watch some comedy. You'll be able to sell a house while you're there. I can't guarantee it, but there's a chance.
Yeah, there you go, man. I can't wait. Look, so let's get to a little bit of sports. It is draft day. Like I said, Christmas is upon us for the NFL. Number one pick in the draft. This has already pretty much been decided. Nothing's 100% guaranteed, but we know Carolina traded up. The Carolina Panthers traded up, and it seems like they're going to take Bryce Young, quarterback from Alabama. I mentioned this last week. I have a little bit of problems with him because he's so tiny. We have seen what happened to Tua Tagovailoa last year with the concussions. At 180, 190 pounds, you are a bouncer for a long time. You can throw tiny guys around, and you're not even a defensive lineman.
Dude, I played rugby for 20 years.
Yeah, there you go.
Man.
There you go.
I love destroying little guys. It is definitely something that you got to protect these blokes, man. You got to have it. I mean, what's the Carolina line look like these days?
Yeah, I don't know. It can't be too good. Christian McCaffrey is a great running back, and he's a nice. I'm sorry, Christian McCaffrey went to San Francisco. They have I forgot who's over in Carolina now, but he's a good weapon out of the backfield. And the problem that Carolina is going to have is their offensive line trying to protect this small, tiny kid.
Yeah,
190 pounds, 5'10".
Hey,
okay,
work for Drew Brees, man.
That's an anomaly. That is an absolute anomaly.
But have you seen Drew Brees throw? He jumps up in the air and he's off the ground when he lets go of the ball.
And the argument for people is that Bryce Young played in the SEC where he's got offensive linemen and defensive linemen that are just as big as NFL players. And I'm sorry, but they're not. The NFL is the top 1% in college. These guys are absolutely phenomenal. I don't. If Will Anderson, who was also played for Alabama, if he was on the other side, he'd have slung this kid around. And I've seen pictures on podiums where Bryce Young is standing next to Nick Saban. He's smaller than his head coach.
I asked Vince Young one night who was the most scary person to ever rush him, and he said it was Mario Williams. And I said, what does it look like? And he's because obviously you've seen some of these guys are big in pads, but Mario is generally a large man without pads on. He said,
ran into him a few times.
It's like a second-story building running at you. And he said he'd never seen anything like it. He just shut the sun out. And he said I could tell he was coming because the light changed, and I was like, oh wow.
And the big question is going to be the next pick in the draft, which we're in Houston, Texas right now, and this city is buzzing. Nobody knows what's going to happen. There is speculation everywhere. And before today's news, which we'll get into in a second with Lamar Jackson, who signed with Baltimore finally, there was speculation that the Texans could trade the number 2 pick to Baltimore for Lamar. Obviously, that's off the table. They can still trade it, though. I don't know if they go quarterback because there's a slew of them next year. I don't know if they go running back with Bijan Robinson, who's flying up the chart, to be picked in the top 10. Defensive, they get Will Anderson, a defensive end, or they get a defensive tackle, and the kid from Georgia, or they get offensive. There's a couple of great offensive linemen, or do they go quarter? There's the options for the Texans are limitless, and what happens after the Texans pick is going to be insanity depending on what they do.
Right.
Where do you think
I've got my theory.
I'm scared to know this theory, but I want to hear it. What are the Texans going to do at pick number 2?
I actually thought they were going to trade it away and take Lamar Jackson because we need a quarterback who doesn't need anybody to block because we don't have anybody to block. I mean, and until they can train Usain Bolt how to throw, we're in some serious trouble. We need someone who can run away from a rusher. I don't know where we're going to end up. I mean, I still think they're going to find a way to trade that pick away. I really do. I've got my designs on. They trade away the pick and pick up a cornerback from somewhere. It's just very Texan-like. I mean, we either get the number 1 pick and we do it right, or we don't do that right too because everybody remembers Baselli.
I really think that the Carolina Panthers did the Houston Texans a massive favor by trading up to number 1 and taking Bryce Young. That was huge
Oh,
because
yeah,
the Texans would have taken him.
We'd have took him.
Yeah, 100%.
We'd have took him, and we'd have had to draft an M1 tank to fucking stand in front of him.
Yeah, yep. So CJ Stroud will be available, and he's passed a lot of people's tests. But I mentioned this last week with Ohio State. They are a wide receiver producing machine. His wide receivers are phenomenal. Now, I'm not saying he's not a great quarterback or a good quarterback. I'm just saying his wide receivers are really, really good. And it might make him look a little better than maybe he actually is. Now, he's a big guy. He's taller. He's got a strong arm. I don't think that Houston would be mad if they took CJ Stroud. You know what I'm saying? I think they'd be like, eh.
Yeah, it makes it easy.
But yeah, it's your consensus pick, right? Because he was supposed to be the number 1 draft pick, and then Carolina traded up. They like Bryce Young. They're taking him. So, but
you don't know what's going on down there right now, man.
Dude,
Cal
no.
McNair and a bottle of Pappy Van Winkle.
Nick
You never know what he's
Caserio.
coming up with, mate.
And Nick Caserio, he's very quiet. He's always been very quiet.
Well, maybe you shouldn't be. Maybe you should be a little louder as a general manager. Come on, man. Where's your balls?
If they don't draft a quarterback, it means they're going with Davis Mills. And I don't have a problem with this because of the fact that the quarterback class next year
Did you see that thing where
unbelievable.
Did you see that thing where Cassiero tried to quote the Wolf of Wall Street the other week?
Yeah,
it was the lamest thing I've ever seen. It was like if you could be Leonardo DiCaprio with 0 nuts in that scene, that is exactly what he looked like. He's like, well, I like to be I'm like Wolf of Wall Street. I'm still here.
But just
I'm
really,
like, no, mate, you've got to be still here.
There's no such thing as passive Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah, no, not at all. I mean, yeah, he's like, no, we can't have midgets today. I'm sorry. No midget throwing on my watch.
Next year, the top 10 quarterbacks to receive, we'll just go 5 of them. Next year, you got Caleb Williams out of USC, who's phenomenal. Drake May in North Carolina, phenomenal. Jordan Davis out of Florida State, phenomenal. Michael Penix Jr. from Washington, and then Bo Nix out of Oregon. All of them will be available next year.
Yeah, there's a bevy of
so
quarterbacks.
if I'm the Texans and I'm not sold on Stroud, and then after that, like a lot of people are saying Will Levis, that this kid from Kentucky, who everybody's making a big deal out of, he put mayonnaise in his coffee one time. I don't care about your
What does that say if you're a Texans fan, though? Let's just break it down right now, because if you don't take a quarterback this year, as the Texans don't, does that basically say, if you're Cal McNair, are you looking at Texans fans going, I want your money next year, but we're not going to win shit?
See, here's the issue.
Is that what he's saying to you?
No, I don't think so, because they have the number 12 pick, right? So you've got 5 quarterbacks in the draft this year that could potentially go in the top 10, but other people are going to pick wide receivers. Like I said, Bijan Robinson, the running back out of Texas, is flying up the board. Somebody might take him. There's great wide receivers. There's good defensive ends, offensive guards, and tackles.
If you take a quarterback at 12, all you're doing is picking a backup for the number 1 you pick next year.
So I think the Texans could trade up with number 12, right? So if they take, let's just say, for instance, they take Will Anderson at number 2. Great pick, defensive guy. Phenomenal. D'Amico Ryans is the Texans' new head coach, a defensive guy. He would fit in perfect with that system, right? And then if Hendon Hooker stays available after like the 7th pick, maybe you trade up and get him.
Yeah.
Right? Like that would be. Oh man, I don't know, because it's so confusing. Because after that, you don't know what's going to happen. You have no idea. Right after the Texans pick.
I think at this point, you just got to ask yourself, what would Kevin Costner do? If this was a shitty movie about the Cleveland Browns drafting, what would he do at this point?
I like that movie.
You like that movie?
Draft Day?
What a piece of shit that movie was. God damn.
He was cheating with his secretary who was 20 years younger than him and hot. That's what I got out of it.
That was just
right? Isn't that what happened? And then his dad died. Oh man. But is he the greatest sports actor in sports movies?
Ooh.
He's made some really good ones, dude.
I'm a big fan of Bull Durham. Bull Durham.
I watched it the other day. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Bull Durham is fantastic.
There's this kid out of Pittsburgh who just got brought up after 13 years in the minors.
I saw that.
He had his first at bat yesterday.
Did you get a hit?
No. He went over. He was brought in as a DH. He went 0 for 1. Well, he wasn't a starter. He wasn't a starter. I'll make fun of him, man. It's a great story.
He flew in 20 people from fucking bumfuck Idaho, and he still didn't hit anything.
Man, the damn Angels, dude. I had the Angels -2. They were winning by 3 a minute ago, and now they're losing, so I'm going to lose that bet. I swear, dude. Gambling is a look, speaking of gambling, I want to welcome in our producer, Jason Vu. What's going on, Jason? I know you got a gig this Sunday, but before I get to that, you did some gambling today. You want to parlay today? How many teams? 3-team parlay. English soccer. So it's all soccer. 3-team parlay for soccer. Good job. Yeah. That'd be the equivalent of you picking Major League Baseball for me. Like I couldn't bet soccer. I would look at records and be like, I'll take the team with the best record. Like
Premier League's good, man. An English team wins every time. It's a good thing to watch if you're an Englishman.
Maybe
you can't lose.
I think if I start betting soccer, I need to call that number. Like that's where I would be at. Right? If I start betting soccer,
just watch the slippery slope you run into with betting, because we rarely are betting on rugby back in Australia, and the variables that happen during the game get real weird real quick. Like next scorer.
Yeah.
It gets real. If there was match fixing, it wouldn't be hard to tweak some things. That's all I'm saying. The amount of variables you can bet on.
Well, guys, welcome into the show. This is Sports with Balls. We are at Christian's Tailgate getting ready for the NFL Draft. There's 4 other locations here in Houston, Texas. Get to one, get some drinks, get some food. I just had a hamburger. They were voted the best hamburgers in Houston, Texas. It's unbelievable. If not, thank you guys for watching the show on all the social media platforms. Look us up, Sports with Balls, on every social media platform and all the podcast arena. And I want to say thank you, obviously, to Christian's Tailgate for having us. Diamond Auto Spa. Austin Bauer over there, man. Get with him, 346-319-5961. Go to diamondautospa.com, detailing everything your car needs, man. It's
phenomenal job those guys do.
Yes, but it's a spa for your vehicle. It is great. Also, money management, Johnny Van Lee. Get the credit you need through Johnny Van Lee at moneymanagementco.com. Fix your credit now. I just did it. Not gonna lie, I got 5 credit cards and I owe on all of them now.
I got ex-wife credit. I don't even think Johnny can save me. I got ex-wife credit.
I don't know. Maybe he can. Dude, I don't want to say I was down in the dumps. I had. It's not that I had bad credit. I had no credit. Like, no credit's not bad credit, right? So, and now I kind of have bad credit. Well, because you get 5 credit. My credit score went up so much that the offers were amazing for credit cards, and I was like, all right, I'll take it.
I had a repo. My car got repoed while I was on stage at an open mic in LA, which I think is the most open mic thing ever. Oh, no, it was on the back of the tow truck. I'm watching it out the window. I'm performing on stage. I'm like, look at that guy's piece of shit Ford Explorer. What a dump that is. My car's awesome. And I walked outside and went, oh, my car.
Oh, my God.
So, well, they were looking for a while. So the Ford Explorer Studios is rest in peace, but thank God we've got the best damn comedian's apartment in LA.
Yeah, I can't wait to see your show tomorrow night. I'm excited. We'll get into that here in a little bit. Thank you guys again. This is my man, Dan Green, joining the show here on Sports with Balls. Let's get pick number 3, owned by okay. So it's owned by Arizona. And I think what they're saying is that the Titans will trade up and get this pick. I don't know what the Arizona Cardinals, an absolute mess. DeAndre Hopkins once out. They just lost their top cornerback. Kyler Murray is a mess. They just fired their head coach. J.J. Watt just left. I don't know what Arizona's going to do because Kyler Murray's their quarterback. All I hear is negative things throughout the NFL from his ex-teammates, ex-coaches, everything about how hard this guy is to deal with. And Arizona's stuck. They signed him to a long-term deal. Unless they trade him, they're stuck. But hey, maybe we see Kyler Murray get traded in the 3rd pick. This draft may be wild, man.
Do you ever see it when they draft a college kid who looks unhappy that he got drafted by a team?
Yeah.
There's a good chance
Eli Manning.
Whoever gets drafted,
I ain't going there.
Whoever gets drafted at number 3 is not going to be smiling whatever hat is on their head. They're going to be sitting there going,
very, very true. Yeah. I think that they will. I think the Titans trade up and try to get a quarterback. We see that the Titans need one now. They seem to have a great offense, and it's designed around Derrick Henry. Obviously, he is an absolute monster. He only has 1 or 2 more years left in him, right?
He can't go.
He's
forever.
on the tail end of his career.
You can only hit the Energizer Bunny so many times, man.
Yes. So I think that they need a quarterback. Maybe they trade up and get C.J. Stroud. This is all dependent on what the Texans do at number 2. The number 2 pick in the draft literally holds the key for the rest of the draft. Like, I've never seen this before. I've never seen where every other team is like, those 3 or 5 minutes between picks are going to be intense this year.
Listen, I've had 3 Lone Stars. I'm 3 sheets to the wind. Okay, let's look at this.
3 Lone Stars in your
Well, it's been a while between beers, but you watch it. Watch out later. I have 4 or 5 of these things. It could be trouble here in Texas.
They got Lone Star in California?
They do not.
What's the local beer in Cali? In LA? Is there a local
some shitty IPA?
Like, is there a Cali beer? Oh, it would be an IPA.
It's an IPA. It's guaranteed it's an IPA.
Jason said Sierra Nevada. I'm not trying to make fun of California. I don't know. Mark the Shields. Maybe we'll ask Mark.
I don't drink enough IPAs to know, but I guarantee it's an IPA.
Probably. Would this sell in LA?
No.
Lone Star would not sell in LA.
I love Lone Star. That's the only beer I drink out of.
Does Coors Light sell in LA?
Yeah, I think they sell a shit out of Bud Light in LA right now. But here, Bud Light's doing great in LA. They're killing it in West Hollywood. That's for damn sure. It's the number one beer in West Hollywood.
Oh, man, I can't wait till tomorrow night. That's great. All right, okay, so let's proceed. Yeah, you said Arizona is going to have – well, whoever goes to Arizona, they're going to be pissed off, right?
They're going to be unhappy. I can't imagine you would be as a rookie. I mean, going to a place where you know you're just going to get your dick kicked in basically for 4 years until you get a deal. Yeah, Arizona's a little bit of a mess right now. If they trade out of that pick, good for them. I don't know what they want. If they want to get it, they can get an offensive lineman down the. If they trade out, that's fine because they can still get an offensive lineman. Like if they trade with the Titans, they could probably get a good offensive lineman down the road. Right. So who knows? But at number 4, another team that needs a quarterback, the Indianapolis Colts. And on the draft sheet, in every mock draft, if Will Levis is there, which the Texans at number 2 are even deciding whether they want to take him. But it says that the Colts are going to draft Will Levis, right? And then that's everybody's mock draft if he's available. And what's funny about that is everybody said, well, he just fits the mold. He just fits. Does Indianapolis just not want a black quarterback? Is that the deal? Like they just have to go a tall, white quarterback? Like I just... They've been so screwed in the quarterback position. It's unbelievable. Jonathan Taylor, for their running back, is phenomenal. And he's got 3 or 4 great years left in him. I don't know if they take Will Levis. I don't know, man. I don't know. Man. Does he fit the mold of the like? Is that what they're just trying to get? Like another. They want another Peyton, man. They just keep hunting for it every time. They're like, this is the one. Well, they found it in Andrew Luck, but then unfortunately he had bad luck. Yeah, he's made of glass. His shoulder, dude, that was the saddest thing I've ever seen. He came out to a Colts game and announced his retirement. They were booing the crap out of him until they figured out what happened. They were like, he couldn't even throw a football. Like, and they were just like, boo. Like, some guy who weighs 450 pounds who couldn't even walk to the mailbox is like, you lightweight, what are you doing? Get out there. Yep. Okay. Pick number 5 belongs to the Seattle Seahawks via the Denver Broncos in the Russell Wilson deal. Yeah, that was one of them Kevin Costner deals right there. Yeah, that's it. There's the draft day. And I think we might see 2 or 3 of those before the 5th pick in the draft this year. Like this is why that in fact, this is the draft day that movie was kind of like this should be what it's based around. This is going to be wild. You could see 2 or 3 trades in the top 5 picks. Oh, yeah, there's GMs that are nervous right now. Oh, yeah. You know what? I wish I didn't have to do what I'm about to do. Because usually you can't win. Usually the number 1 pick, which in this year's draft, it kind of is too, is set. And then number 2 follows right in line, right? You know who the 1, 2, 3, and 4 kind of are going to be, right? There's certain needs for certain teams. This year, number 2 with the Houston Texans, they need defense. They need offensive line. They need a quarterback. They need every position filled, and you don't know what they're going to do. Who's the quarterback who's going to be sitting there till the 2nd round? Ooh, who thinks he's going in the 1st? See, it could be somebody like Will Levis that just slips down, and then you're like, it happens to somebody every year, right? Every year, someone's sitting there, and they've got mom, dad, everybody at the table. You've brought in grandma and grandpa, and nothing happens, and you got to come back the next day. Anthony Richardson, from the quarterback from Florida, who's off the chain as far as athletic ability is concerned. He might be the guy that slips down. Like I don't know. Apparently he's not that accurate. And Will Levis wasn't either. And Anthony Richardson, I think, only started 11, 12 games in college, so that's all you have to go off of. He blew everybody away at the combine with his athleticism, but Tom Brady's the most unathletic guy out there, and he wins Super Bowls, right? So I don't know if athleticism transfers to on-field wins, but until the combine comes up with a heart test, I think we're in trouble. Right? All right. Speaking of being athletic, we'll get back to the draft here in a minute, but some major news out of the NFL today.
Lamar Jackson. Well, there's two major things that happened in the last 3 days, right? And we knew this was coming right before the draft. Aaron Rodgers signed with the Jets. We'll get to that in a second. But Lamar Jackson finally cleared his deal with the Baltimore Ravens. He is $260 million, the highest paid player in NFL history on a 5-year deal. He'll barely edge out Jalen Hurts, who just got a $255 million deal. Good for Baltimore, or why'd you do that?
I don't know. I really, unless it was just bad blood over there in Baltimore, but I don't understand why the Texans didn't really get into that, because Lamar Jackson, I think, fits well down here.
Yeah, you said it from the beginning. He can run.
He can run. I mean, he can run. We don't need to worry about blocking for him. Get him a decent person he can throw to, and we'll be right.
Here's the thing with me about Lamar Jackson going to the Baltimore Ravens again. Odell Beckham Jr. just got there too. So you're taking, and I understand Lamar's young, but he's been injured a lot already, and he's a mobile quarterback, which scares the hell out of anybody. And now you have Odell Beckham Jr. as prime. I would think his number one wide receiver, unless you pick somebody up. Somehow, I don't know what Baltimore's going to do, but they need to get another one. He's coming off major knee surgery.
Yeah.
Major knee surgery. And he's older too. He's at the tail end of his career. So the Ravens are banking on a mobile Lamar Jackson and a banged up Odell Beckham Jr. And you just sunk $260 million into this. Well, no, if you add in OBJ's money, you're looking at $275 million. And that's your future.
Easy.
If I was the Ravens, I would have done exactly what you said. We'll trade him to the Texans.
Hey, man, it's Baltimore.
Boom.
It's Baltimore. You're already depressed. You live in Baltimore. What are you going to do?
Right? Wow. Oh, man. Aaron Rodgers signed his deal with the Jets finally, which was a foregone conclusion. It just took a little bit longer than expected, I guess. But he is now a New York Jet. And the compensation for getting Aaron Rodgers, let me see if I have this pulled up and I have it correctly. Man, I lost it. I had it there for a second. But, yeah, Aaron Rodgers becomes a New York Jet. They're stacked. I loved his press conference. I thought that he looked more into it than he did in Green Bay the last couple years. I know he had his MVP season, but especially I'll just tell you last year. He was out of it last year. Green Bay was not that good. And Aaron Rodgers, he said, and he was today, and he didn't do this last year. He was off doing ayahuasca or whatever it was. Yeah, he was already throwing today with the Jets wide receivers.
You watch, man. If this works out, if Rodgers goes to the Super Bowl, every team's going to be doing preseason ayahuasca trips, mate. That's what's going to be happening. We're like, right, get the TP out. Let's get this, shit done.
This year he did the darkness thing for 3 days. Last year was ayahuasca. This year he went into the darkness to debate his retirement.
Okay, here's the thing with the darkness thing, all right? They act like the darkness thing is a huge deal, all right? There are some former POWs who'd be sitting there just going, you did 5 days? Oh, great. Yeah, I spent 6 months in a jail in Vietnam in the dark, and you did 5 days and you're an NFL player. Good for you. Come on, man. I mean, is 5 days in the dark the top of the mountain now? No.
Look, people do mushrooms. They microdose. Is that what they call it?
Microdosing mushrooms, yeah.
There's some people microdose. People do this ayahuasca thing. I saw a special. There's all kinds of the ayahuasca thing just became popular because Aaron Rodgers did it. But there's all sorts of things in Jamaica. There's or anywhere, Brazil, Costa Rica, that they have these camps that you can go to, all supervised, that get you in what they think is a right mental state of mind.
If ayahuasca.
After you shit on yourself.
If ayahuasca keeps quarterbacks away from hookers and coke,
good for them.
Then we're good.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the alternative right there. Just stay the fuck away from hookers, strippers, and coke, and you'll be fine. Yeah. You'll make it in the NFL. That's okay. You can go and head trip on ayahuasca all you like and take as many mushrooms as you need.
Do you think that one of these draft picks, if Aaron Rodgers was like, hey, before you go to the draft, come with me. Do you think that like a 19, 20-year-old kid would be like, yeah, I think I need to go on an ayahuasca trip with Aaron Rodgers before I make my draft decision? Or maybe even a GM of one of these teams.
Dude, ayahuasca scares the shit out of me.
What if that's what needed? We needed one of these GMs should have gone on an ayahuasca trip. Like the Texan Nick Casario should have gone on an ayahuasca trip so he could make the right decision at the pick
Jeff,
number 2.
We both have too many demons, and here's the thing, man. It's like your first time you do mushrooms. No mirrors. Hide the mirrors in the house if you're going to do mushrooms for the first time. You don't want a mirror when you're doing mushrooms the first time. Now, having said that, yeah, I'm terrified of ayahuasca. I'm like, no, people.
I would do
that. I'm like,
I would not do it.
No. Yeah, the whole. I don't need to look right inside myself. I'm pretty sure what's in there.
You got to be excited if you're a Jets fan. Like you've got an incredible lineup, like your talent, and you've got ayahuasca Rogers over there.
They say that every year at this time of the year, man. You've got to be excited if you're a Jets fan. And that stupid idiot with the fireman's helmet on, he gets up and he gets excited.
Yeah. Aaron Rodgers mentioned him at the press conference. That's how popular that dude is.
That's a tool.
He's going to freak out if they make the playoffs. They're the longest out of the 4 major sports, and we're talking about NBA, NFL, MLB, and NHL. They have the longest non-playoff streak in all 4 major sports.
Dude, that guy with the stupid helmet on makes you appreciate Eagles fans. That's how much of a dick he is.
Wow. Dan Green, guys. Dan Green. Look, you can catch Dan Green live here in Houston, Texas for guys that are watching the show here locally in Houston. Tomorrow night, you will be over at Darwin's. I'm going to be there. Me, myself, Joe Applewhite, JT, Matt Morgan. There's going to be a lot of local people there to see you. You've got a few other comics with you tomorrow night and Saturday night.
Yep.
You can get tickets at eventbrite.com, right?
Yep. Search for Dan Green and Friends, and I'm bringing Johnny Mitchell from the Connect on YouTube. I'm bringing Mike Eshak, the funniest Marine comic in America.
I want to meet that guy.
Yeah, United States Marine Corps guys, you've got to come out and watch Mike Eshak and Jeff Joe, who just got done opening for Russell Peters at Joe Rogan's Comedy Mothership last weekend. He's an up-and-coming comic who's going to blow up huge in this country soon. Also, I'll be doing my new 25 minutes right in the middle of all this.
Oh, so you're
I can't wait. I'm the middle guy. Yeah, I bookend myself with 2 stellar LA comics, and that's how I roll out here. We've been doing this. This is our 4th trip out here now, and the last 3 have been sellouts. We've had such a great night. We put 100 people in Darwin's. We turn it in to a comedy club. We kick out all the tables and bring in all the chairs, and everybody has a great time.
I can't wait. I'm excited. Tomorrow night at Darwin's Pub, we will be there. We are live tonight, right now, and we are, what is it, man? 38 minutes away from the NFL draft. I'm excited for this draft. I cannot wait to see what happens. I
know what's going to happen. A whole bunch of people from Kansas City are going to get drunk and pick nothing. That's what they're going to do. They're sitting on the side of that hill in the freezing fucking cold wearing their red jerseys right now, and they ain't picking anything till tomorrow.
Nope.
I'm like, there is nothing to do in this city.
So we got through pick number 4, the Indianapolis Colts. I'm assuming they're going to take a quarterback when they get there. I'm pretty sure. So if Will Levis is there, probably him, but you never know. It's all dependent on what the Texans do at number 2. But pick number 5, Seattle Seahawks. It says if Jalen Carter, the defensive tackle from Georgia, is available, that's the consensus pick for them. Geno Smith did very well for them last year, and they're riding that train for a little bit. So I think they do go defense. Seattle's built on defense, right? So I think they go defensive tackle. That guy's a monster.
Yeah, definitely, man.
Pick number 6, the Detroit Lions. And this is interesting because Detroit, they picked Hutchinson last year, and he was phenomenal. Aiden Hutchinson, the defensive end he was unbelievable. The guy was phenomenal. And Detroit is one of those teams that's really, really looking good. And it says that they probably will go a cornerback at number 6. More defense for Detroit.
Yeah, defense wins championships. Isn't that what your dad says?
Yeah, but not anymore. That's why dads say it. Not like you would think that, but look, Patrick Mahomes, like that's not defense. Nobody rages about Kansas City's defense.
No, they have a defense. Didn't even know.
Yeah,
didn't even know.
It's they score 1, you're like, all right, you score 7, we'll score 14, no problem.
Exactly.
That's the new NFL.
Yeah, exactly. Who's at 7, Mike?
Number 7, the Las Vegas Raiders. Another team that's in a little bit of turmoil. We saw Derek Carr is gone now. We saw 2 years ago the John Gruden situation, their head coach situation, their owner, always a little bit of turmoil involved with the Davis family.
I have a theory for LA.
All right, let's go.
I have a theory.
Well, Vegas now.
Oh, sorry, Vegas.
Oakland.
Okay.
It went L.A., Oakland, whatever. Vegas now, Vegas Raiders.
Vegas, gambling town. Okay. Now, I'm not sure if this happens in the NFL, but I see enough of it in the NBA. All right. You see NBA teams taking a gamble all the time. This is out of left field. They always take that European player. Come on, draft someone from NFL Europe. Let's fucking bring in someone. Let's bring in someone from NFL Europe.
NFL Europe anymore?
They have NFL Europe. I think there's 5 teams playing out of Rotterdam or somewhere like that. Get the quarterback from Rotterdam and get him in and say, you know what? We see nice things in this kid and we're taking a gamble.
There's a 7-1 quarterback over there. He can throw a 160-yard bomb.
He's wiry. He's wiry. He ain't got too much in this. He's not very broad, but he's wiry.
He's taking Victor.
He can throw a ball 80 yards, but he just if you look at him, he breaks.
Number 8, Atlanta Falcons. I wish Rachel was here. Rachel Vaughn Orange. That is her team. At 11, I have no idea. I don't have a clue between at pick number 8. I'm sorry, Atlanta Falcons, and then 9 is the Chicago Bears via the Carolina trade. They got them to number 1, and then at 10, you've got the Philadelphia Eagles. This is all, like I said, all dependent on what happens at number 2 with the Houston Texans, right? Nobody knows.
And here's the worst part is the entire NFL is trying to speculate what the Texans are going to do. We can't even figure out what the Texans are going to do when we're here. I mean, how's the rest of the NFL going to figure that out?
Yeah, who knows? And then you have look, they have right after that, the Texans have another pick at number 12.
Right.
So they can trade that pick and trade up if they want to, or trade down. They can trade the number 2 to go back to number 5 if they want to and take a quarterback and get a couple of more first or second rounders. I don't know.
I guarantee you one thing. One thing is for sure. If the Texans manage to trade that pick away and trade away the 12th pick, and there's some poor dude out in Kansas City wearing a Texans jersey tonight, he's not going to be like those KC fans. He's going to be disappointed that we didn't pick anybody in the first day.
The Texans have an opportunity here to change their franchise.
I think they're going to set themselves up for next year. I really think they're going to trade away.
I hope so.
I'm going to go out on a limb right now. I'm going to go out on a limb and say they're going to trade away the 2nd pick and the 12th pick, and they're going to line themselves up with a bunch of first rounders for next year, and they're going to get that quarterback they want next year and get a couple of.
There's not another team in the top 12 picks that has the opportunity to change their franchise like the Houston Texans do have tonight. Like, they can change. Look, they hired DeMeco Ryans, defensive-minded guy, incredible head coach, or not head coach. Well, he's a head coach now for Texans, but a defensive coordinator for San Francisco.
Well,
he's amazing. So
it worries me that if they don't give him the tools this year, they may, Texas.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, this is huge for them. This is they have an opportunity to change the entire franchise, change the narrative that is the Deshaun Watson. Go back to Andre Johnson, J.J. Watt, DeAndre Hopkins. Dude, they're all gone. You didn't win championships. You had great players. You ruined a bunch of careers. You've got scandals. You have a chance to change the narrative. With 2 picks in the NFL draft, you need to get it right.
Yeah.
And if I'm a Texans fan tonight, I am absolutely freaking out, like scared that they are – you're going to, in 2 hours from now, be throwing stuff like a Cowboys fan.
Speaking of the Cowboys,
let's do it. I'm always down for
let's
Cowboys.
Let's jump to the first. Where the Cowboys land in this thing? Where are they at?
Let me see where.
Tell me it's tomorrow sometime. It can't be late, can it?
Yeah, I don't know if the Cowboys have a pick tonight. Let me see. So I'll go down the list here. Houston's have 12. Green Bay Packers, who obviously got their pick via the New York Jets. They have number 13. The New England Patriots at 14. The Jets again via Green Bay at 15. Commanders, Steelers, Lions, again, Bucks, Seahawks again at 20. The Los Angeles Chargers, 21.
No one cares.
Now, Baltimore Ravens at 22, Minnesota Vikings, Jacksonville, the Giants. Here we go. Dallas Cowboys, pick number 26.
Pick number 26.
And it doesn't matter. They still have Dak Prescott.
That's a sexy pick, 26
Is
right
it?
there. No.
Look, they absolutely freaking lucked out with CeeDee Lamb, right? They've gotten lucky. They've actually drafted very well the last couple of years. So if somebody falls into like that 26 category, say somebody like Bijan Robinson, or remember you said earlier, what What if one of these QBs or somebody falls way back?
I think around that mark at the 26, that's when you see GM starting to get cute, and they're starting to find that pick that no one else has seen, and they're like, that's when you'll start seeing third rounders get picked in the first round, and you're like, no, this guy's a dime in the rough. You don't see what we see. Well, nobody else did either. You could have got him in the late second round. You didn't have to take him here. But you're going to see some of that happen. It's just some cute stuff.
Kevin Anthony, thanks for joining. He said pick 26, massive Cowboys fan. And he just said, Dan sounds just like the shark out of Finding Nemo.
Bruce the Shark, mate. G'day, how you going? No, mate, I do a bit on stage about talking like Bruce the Shark, mate. Yeah, he's like, hi, how you doing, mate? Oh, yeah.
Fish are our friends.
Fish are friends, mate. Fish are friends. Fish are friends.
Not
we don't
food.
eat fish. Not food. Not food. Friends.
He didn't know his father. Neither did I. Damn it! I'm just kidding. I did know him.
I got thrown out of a plane once with a sergeant who sounded exactly like that shark. It was very, very disconcerting.
You said earlier, look, you flew in today from Los Angeles,
right,
and rough plane flight on Southwest, but. I was going to ask you, and I'm glad you just mentioned that. Have you ever been thrown off a plane? I have. I've been kicked off a plane before.
I've jumped off the back of one before.
Well, yeah, we know you were.
No. The plane was on the tarmac. We turned up late.
What?
We turned up late to an army exercise on the back of a thing called a caribou, and the caribou doesn't have night vision in the cockpit, so it's coming on sunset. And these guys were like, "Well, you got to get out," but we don't have time to stop the plane to a complete stop. We just need to do a U-turn at the end of the tarmac and get this thing out of here.
How fast is it going? Like 20?
About 30 mile an hour, man.
Wow.
You're walking off the back of this thing with a full pack on, and you just face plant straight away. And we're not paratroopers. We don't know how to. You're taking a 1 foot step off the back of a plane. It's just broken knees and everything, man. It was a bad idea from the start.
Yeah, I bet it was. That doesn't sound fun at all.
Closest I've gone to getting thrown off an airplane. I don't want to be on a no-fly list. I kind of like being on the fly list.
Yeah, I was kicked off a plane one time. It was a very interesting ordeal. It was right when people had the ability to bring their dogs onto planes, like in the cabin.
I have a bone to pick with service animals. Here's the thing:
German Shepherd on a plane is not a service animal, dude.
No. He probably is a service. He's a service animal, but he should be given his own seat. That's for sure. He's a big dog.
Yes.
I had a guy come in the Laugh Factory in LA the other week, and everybody brings their dog out in LA. I mean, that's the thing. You're not allowed to ask for the paperwork. You just got to assume it's correct. Dude turns up at a comedy show with a full-size Doberman as an emotional support dog. And I looked at him, the Resident Evil dog, the big one.
Yeah.
And I looked at him and I was like,
the Resident Evil dog.
And he takes this dog inside, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, at what point has your emotional support dog lost its effect when everybody in the room needs emotional support because of your dog?
Because of your dog, yeah.
And then 10 minutes later, he's out front arguing with a guy who's in there with a full-size pit bull as his anxiety dog, and they're arguing over whose emotional support dog can beat the shit out of the other emotional support dog.
Ugh.
I'm like, that's not how it's meant to work, buddies. No. You can't do this.
I can't stand that. I saw a lady in the grocery store with one the other day, and it just blew my mind that dogs. I got enough hair in my house because I got a dog and he runs around. I got to sweep every day. I can't imagine having a dog in a grocery store, right? That's not right.
Hey man, sometimes you need them though, man. There are some legitimate
in a grocery store.
Hey man, some people need
the
one to
pears
leave the
are going to attack you.
Some people need them to leave the house, man. I mean, that's a cool thing.
You don't even need in today's society. You don't even need to leave your home. Order Amazon groceries or every grocery store has an app now.
I did have a
don't
lady.
Take your
I did
dog
have a lady
to the
walk,
grocery store.
I did have a lady walk in one night with 2 emotional support dogs.
Oh my god!
And I looked at her and I said, 2? And she said, yes, 2. I've got the paper.
How messed up are you?
I asked her, I said, does your emotional support dog need an emotional support dog?
Yeah.
And she said, that's not funny. And I said, yeah, it is.
That's
a comedy club.
You're in a comedy club.
And she goes, can I sit up front? And I went, absolutely not. I'm not going to let you sit there with 2 puppies at the front row. I was like, no, that's not fair on any comic who goes up tonight. That's unfortunate. You're making yourself the show.
The NFL draft is tonight. We are about 20 minutes away from it. I'm excited about it. I'm nervous for the Houston Texans. I don't. Every other team kind of awaits on that number 2 pick, and the cards will fall thereafter. But again, They hired D'Amico Ryans. It's a huge spot for them. They can change a lot of things about that organization. And for the city of Houston, which is the third, fourth largest, biggest city in the United States, they need that franchise to do well. The Houston Astros, 2 World Series championships in the last 5-6 years. They've gone 4 times. That team is dominating there. The Houston Rockets just hired a new head coach, but they're bottom of the barrel in the NBA. So the NBA team and the NFL team in Houston are bottom feeders. Both of them have top picks in drafts, right? So the Texans can change a lot of things about their organization, and there's a lot of fans that 20 years ago, 17 years ago, however long it was that the Houston Texans came to be, there's a lot of people tonight really nervous about what they're going to do. And as they should be. I would be freaking out if I was a massive Houston Texans fan tonight, because the stars can align for them if they do the right things.
Yeah. I just noticed a shop board over here at Christian's Tailgate, and it reads like a strip joint I used to go to back in the day. Well, you've got the Royal Fuck, the Italian Hussy, the Red Snapper, the Italian Apple, and the Purple Hooter. They remind me of women. The Purple Hooter reminds me of a stripper I knew at Jumbo's Clown Room in LA.
Jumbo's Clown Room?
Mm-hmm.
What's that?
It's a burlesque club.
Burlesque?
Yeah.
Is that what they call it out there?
Burlesque. Well, that would be the difference between burlesque and butt naked. Is burlesque has clothes. It's classy. It's like a Beverly Hills Cop strip club from the old Beverly Hills Cop movies, where no one was getting lap dances, but you could always see a stripper.
Yeah.
Kind of felt not quite as nasty.
Well, look, Dan
Green.
Green.
Let's go back to on my tangent. There's a Purple Hooter that took me away from this, folks. I'm sorry about that. I couldn't.
Purple Hooter took you away from the NFL draft. It's fine. It's fine. It's what we do. Lauren Leal got called. Well, actually, she had a meeting that ran a little over, so she could not make the show tonight. But I was lucky enough to have Dan Green fly in from LA for a show he's having tomorrow night. Cannot wait for that. I'm going to be there. 2 other comics, yourself. I'll be there tomorrow night. Go to eventbrite.com. Dan Green and Friends. Tickets are on sale there. Go get them now. A lot of us will be there tomorrow night. I'm excited about that. But thank you for actually joining the show tonight. This is a pleasant surprise.
I am pumped, and you know what? It looks like tailoring has gone up a notch at the NFL draft, because everybody seems to be pretty sharp looking tonight.
Man, it's
not as boxy as it used to be back in the day.
Did you remember those suits, dude?
People look like aircraft hangers. It was fantastic, man.
Aircraft hangers.
Looked like talking heads, man. It was great, man.
I've got to give the NFL a massive, or ESPN, whoever did this, massive compliments on taking the NFL draft and making it a spectacle, because we were talking a little bit about this before the show. The NFL draft used to be a bunch of GMs and owners and head coaches sitting in a room, probably a 20 by 20 room with a bunch of little desks, and a little helmet was on there with the little pickup phones. And that was it, man. There was no hype. There was no nothing. And last year you had picks being brought to the stage on gondolas in Las Vegas. And it is a huge event now.
I think now it's televised, because it's so televised and there's such a microscope now. I mean, not saying the optics of a bunch of white guys sitting at a table saying, "I'll take that guy,"
and that's all it was.
And that's what
we need to go back to those videos. Was there a black dude in the room?
I'm just saying it kind of looked like that back in the day. Back in the day, the optics weren't great.
Yeah.
Okay, but now we got gondolas, and I don't know what they're going to bring them in on a piece of barbecue in Kansas City. Ain't nothing else to do in Kansas City except eat barbecue.
I don't think there's going to be too much of a spectacle. Las Vegas always has to go up and over expectations, but it's in Kansas City, so it should be. Look, again, they've made it an event. It's a lot of fun. Bars are packed in every city. Again, I call it Christmas Day. I heard it on another show too. They call it Christmas Day because everybody's getting a present, like you said.
I'm going to call it right now. By day 2, people are going to be rolling down that hill in Kansas City. That hill is made for people rolling down and doing dumb shit.
Well, they've been drinking over there in Kansas City, and usually they do. I got to applaud them for making it such an event. The NFL didn't have a lot going on during the off seasons for the last 10 years, maybe 15 years.
That's packed up.
Yeah, look at it, dude. It's an event, man. People fly in to go to this thing, and it is unbelievable now. So it's a fun thing. We've got about 20 minutes. Is that a Carolina fan? Carolina Panthers. They get number 1.
She's dressed as a panther, but she looked like a fucking pussycat.
No, yeah. Well, look at this. See, you're talking about Jordan Addison, USC wide receiver. There's his suit. All right.
Shop.
So before we let everybody go, got 20 minutes till the draft. Everybody can get a couple of drinks in them, relax, turn the TV up. Who's going to make the biggest mistake tonight in the draft? I'm going to give you some choices before you answer.
Ooh.
Carolina Panthers at number 1, Houston Texans at number 2, Indianapolis Colts at number 4, or the Las Vegas Raiders at number 7. Biggest mistake.
Biggest mistake. Man, I love Houston so much.
Oh,
it's my favorite town. But I got my arms wrapped around Cam McNair just going
Cal
McNair, going big on this one. And
whiffing, strike 3.
I can see.
This would be strike 3. Look, the Houston fan base would boycott the Texans if they screw this up.
I'm going to make a call right now. It's going to be a corner or a safety.
No way, dude. Okay, you may be right, and there you go. Boom, boycott the Texans. Like that would drop the bomb on them.
Corner or safety, or you'll trade. Okay, worst case scenario, trades 2 out for a couple of picks next year, and then they take that corner or that safety at 12.
I just think it's amazing that we don't. They've been so quiet. Nick Caserio and the Houston Texans at number 2, which is really going to dictate the entire draft. We already know number 1. What the Texans do at number 2 is going to dictate everybody. I don't remember a draft being where the number 2 pick dictate, like everybody's got 5 minutes now to figure this whole thing out.
You know how you can gauge it? The number 2 quarterback, look at his face and see how nervous he looks, and you'll know what's going on. Because
so it should be C.J. Stroud. So letter of the law would tell you C.J. Stroud. Now the betting odds say Will Levis is going number 2.
Well, I look at Will and go, what do you reckon? See how nervous he looks.
So if I'm the Houston Texans and it's Will Levis or next year, I say next year.
Yeah.
I go defense, grab Anderson and be done with it. Grab the top defensive guy in the draft and then change it on to next year. Like,
have we got any projected picks for next year? What are we looking at next year?
Yeah, well, if the Texans tank with Davis Mills, which they will, I just don't like. We're forgetting that Lovie Smith put the Houston Texans in this position with not only a last-second touchdown in the last game of the season, but also a last-second 2-point conversion.
At $12 a beer at Reliant, I don't like the message that sends to your fans. We're going to tank it.
Yeah.
Okay? I just don't like what you're doing there.
That's what they should do. That is a great idea. If you're going to tank, Texans,
free beer.
Colts, well, not free, $5.
$2 beer night.
Yeah.
$2 beer.
Have specials. You're not going to be good.
Happy hour. Happy hour the first half.
We need to be the promoters for the Houston Texans. All right, guys, got to thank a couple of people before we get out of here. I want to thank Christian's Tailgate. We're here in the Heights. There's 4 other locations in Houston, Texas. You guys get up here, watch the draft, grab a beer, eat some food. It is phenomenal. Also, Diamond Auto Spa. Our boy over there, Austin Bauer. Go to www.diamondautospah.com.
Yeah.
Man. Maybe I need a couple more Lone Stars. Also want to thank Joe Applewhite Realty. If you have any, what is it? His saying is, everything I touch turns to sold. There you go. There you go, Joe. And also,
damn good guy, Joe Applewhite. Damn good guy.
He's a really good man. He is an awesome realtor.
Yeah.
Like, man. Money management. Fix your credit. Want that house or car you need? Call Johnny Van Lee. Go to moneymanagementco.com. He is your man for everything. Get your credit score up. Get some credit cards so it can go back down. That's what I did. Now I called him again the other day, and now I got to go back up. So I'll fix my credit once again.
Absolutely.
And there you go. And last but not least, Dan Green from LA, comedy show tomorrow night in Houston, Texas, live with 2 other guys from LA. Really excited about this. Can't wait to go. Dan, tell us tomorrow night where they can go get your tickets and everything.
Me, Johnny Mitchell, Mike Ishak, Jeff Joe at Darwin's Pub tomorrow night. Go to eventbrite.com, search for Dan Green and Friends. You're going to have the great, it's a great comedy show. Laughter is good for your soul, folks. Come on out, have a few laughs, cheap drinks, be great.
Can't wait, man. Jason, thanks for producing the show. As always, you have a show
Jason.
this Sunday, and congratulations on your parlay. We'll have gambling tips for you next week. You guys have a good weekend. This is Sports with Balls. I'm Jeff Michael. He's Dan Green. See you.